also have a Paris close to me. Either way, I joined Toastmasters to become a more effective public speaker. I have a lot of anxiety when it comes to speaking. Like, my heart is racing like crazy right now, but it's something I want to get over and improve upon. A few years ago, I would do public speaking about once a week for my job in human resources. Basically, these were case dissertations, and I would talk to an audience between 80 to 100 people at a time. It's funny, I haven't done that in 3 years, and I thought I would come up here and feel no nerves at all, but it's amazing how fast your public speaking skills can atrophy. A part of my job, I have been a part of and conducted multiple interviews, more than I would like to admit. The question, tell us about yourself, comes up very often. It's probably one of the most common interview questions, and it's one that people tend to get very wrong. The 3 answers that people get wrong the most are, they ask someone to clarify the question for them. So, what do you mean by telling me about yourself? They say something self-deprecating, like, well, there's not much to say, I'm not very interesting. Or they ask, do you mean personally or professionally about myself? The problem with these 3 answers is they demonstrate immediately a lack of confidence in yourself and your professional ability. So what I like to tell my clients is focus on your education, focus on your professional life, and make sure you're relating to the position that you're applying for. And I also like to say keep it 95% personal and 95% professional and 5% personal. For the rest of the speech, I'm not going to be going very professional. I'm going to be strictly personal. And I'd like to start off with talking about my education. I have been in some form of school or education body or institute for close to 20 years of my life, so that's about 2/3. So I've spent a significant amount of time in school. I was recently talking to my friend Nathan this week, and we were just, sharing stories or whatever, and we were talking about some of our education-related accomplishments. And he brought up to me a time when we got the fire department called on us at our school. So I'm going to tell you about this story. I was around 13 years old. Me and my group of friends had recently discovered something called a fart bag. So a fart bag is this little bag. It's a chemical concoction, and you squeeze it, it mixes chemicals together, it pops, and it creates this really disgusting smell. Like poop, essentially. So we heard about these, we got some at the local variety store, we threw them at each other, whatever, they're okay. And we discovered that there was a store downtown in our city that sold high-grade, really high-quality vials of this stuff. So it was for 18 years old or older. We didn't have to show ID. We bought 3 of these vials. I can tell you that 2 of them went off in the schoolyard to, some disgust, some laughs, but one of them happened to go off inside the school. Now, these vials explicitly said, do not throw inside, do not throw indoors, do not use indoors. Okay, so yours truly was offered the last vial and instructed by my friends to throw it after the recess bell had rung. So we walk in, I have it in my pocket, I throw it into the hallway, it shatters, and it's not immediate, the effect isn't immediate, so we all get to go into class. We sat down, and this girl sitting near the door started grabbing her face, and she did this. And she goes, something smells in the hallway, it's disgusting. And then the entire class started complaining, and before you knew it, the entire school was evacuated because they thought there was a chemical leak. The fire department was called, and we were sent home from school for the day. Now, whether or not we were caught doesn't really matter. The more important thing is we got to spend a day off school, and we still joke around it to this day. So that's basically how I'm summarizing 20 years of education. Maybe a couple of words here and a degree, but that's probably the highlight. As for my professional life, I've been in various forms of employment since I've been about 13 years old, consistently employed during that entire time. I was hired at a position, funnily enough, with my brother for the same job at the same time, and we were trained at the same time. And this is a professional job. We had to deal with very sensitive materials and some very confidential subject matter. The problem with hiring 2 brothers who are about a year and a half apart in age difference is we don't take anything seriously. So we spent the entire 6 to 8 weeks of training trying to make each other laugh. We got to the point where I couldn't even look at him without him making a face behind the trainer's back. There was one moment in particular that I was speaking to a trainer and having a conversation with her, and my brother was dancing behind her, and I actually had to walk away from her is to stifle my laughter. Now it gets better because they would hire us. They hired us, both of us were hired, we were both trained, and they would put us to work together, which is, you don't put someone to work with their brother, because he would say, all right, Dan, I'm gonna go have a nap. you watch the front and take care of things, and then so we would rotate. Very unprofessional. Right? That same position is also where I met my fiance. I told myself that I would never date anyone at work again because it is always, always horrible. It never works out. And of course, I can't follow my own advice. I met my fiance at work. That was 6 years ago. We're still happy together. Probably going to be married within the year or so. We don't really know. She doesn't want to get married overseas, and my parents certainly don't want us to get married overseas. They prefer if we get married at home. So that's a little bit about my professional life. Now my personal life, I'm going to switch it up. I'll be professional with this. My name is Daniel Reed. I'm a human resource consultant that prides himself in delivering cost-effective and modern business solutions for small and mid-cap companies. Thank you so much for listening to my speech. It's a little bit about me, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.